Good morning. Welcome to all our listeners. Welcome to On the Couch with Dr. Diamond and Miss Rajanta and Miss Sanella. So, we are going to discuss a wonderful topic this morning. And our topic this morning is about self care and HIV awareness. We have some awesome ladies coming on this morning by the name of Tonya Presley, Jenica Jerome, and Natasha McCaskill. They are with the Hyathist Foundation. So we will be bringing them on shortly. But before we do that, let's get into some news. So good morning, my two fabulous co-hosts. How y'all doing this morning?
Good morning. This is Rajanta. Hope that all is well out there. I'm doing absolutely awesome.
Good morning. This is Sanella, and I'm very happy to be in attendance today. Looking forward to the presenters today because there's a lot of information out there that we definitely need to know.
Yes, and I'm glad you talked about that information. That's what we are going to be for everyone, all of our listeners, those that are following us. We are the information pipeline. So come on and follow us and get some good content and information, and all of the guests that we bring on. We think about what value we're bringing to you all, meaning the knowledge. What knowledge are we bringing to you? So this morning, real quick, what I want to talk about is the Bridge Builder Foundation is hosting a show for Wakanda Forever. When I tell you I'm excited, and this is why our show is at 9:30 this morning versus 11 a.m. But you know what? Let's take a moment and think about Chadwick Boseman. You two ladies, that he was an extraordinary actor, but gone too soon. How do you two feel about the wonderful things he has done? What are some movies have you seen him in? And your thoughts would be, wonderful right now about Chadwick.
You know what? I actually was a fan of Chadwick. And his untimely death definitely caught me off guard. I remember seeing a movie that he played in, and please forgive me, I don't know the name, but it was about Vietnam War vets. I think it was a Netflix movie, and he was awesome. And I think he might have passed away shortly after. But I think he was amazing, and especially bringing his great character on screen in Wakanda. Like, it made me so proud to be an African American woman. And he's great. He's great, and definitely rest in peace, Boseman.
Yes, for me, the movie that sticks out to me, or his contribution, was Black Panther. And I'm excited to, have witnessed that. I'm excited. It was very familiar to me. Not really much on it, but I would just miss him. He was just going too soon. He was just getting started, getting his name out there more, and he will be missed. Thank you. Or he is missed.
I agree. He would be missed, and I'm looking forward to seeing the movie today, because I know that they will be having, like a memorial for him in the Marvel movie. And you know what? Thank you. Also, Stan Lee. If anyone knows about Stan Lee, he is the creator of all of those Marvel comics. As y'all can hear, I'm a fan since back in the day when I was a little girl, Marvel comics was the thing. So I just wanted to briefly talk about Chadwick because he was an extraordinary, again, actor and very believable. He reminded me of so much of Denzel, because every character Denzel played, you believed it, so he engulfed himself into, the movie. So the next thing I want to talk about, listen, we had voting on Tuesday. Did you ladies vote on Tuesday?
Absolutely. Always, and I've always tried to, as I kind of begin to transition into adulthood. It's important. It's important to our community, and just to be totally honest and transparent. Growing up, it wasn't like a thing. So it wasn't until I kind of transitioned to my early 20s I really got acclimated and really knowing why it's important, and just the importance of not only voting in the actual presidential election, because there's different people that need to be elected, in our communities, and we do make a difference. So yes, absolutely, I voted.
So I voted as well. And when you talk about tradition, like I started tradition with my children where we would all go to vote together. I'm an empty nester now. So this year was pretty much like the first year I went on my own, but I would always take the kids with me, my children, or anyone else who wanted to come along. I even take my grandchildren. I just take them in the booth with me. So it's not, but at this time I couldn't, but tradition is big for me, and I'm glad I was able to do that. And this way my children get out there and they don't need me to go vote. They go vote themselves. So it was taught.
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Nella, I just want to chime in really fast. I think that's very important. It's very important establishing that tradition early on in your family, just so that they can know the importance and why we do this, and, about how our ancestors kind of died for this cause. So
Right.
I think it's very, very important. And that's a great tradition you started with your family.
It is. It's awesome. And I'm glad that you are doing that. And please, all of those that are listening to us right now this morning, there is a very big importance of, voting in the primary elections. You cannot just say, well, I'm just going to only vote for the president. If you want change, you have to vote. You cannot complain later if you didn't vote. So that's the most important thing. And keep that in mind. Teaching and the traditions, like Ms. Rajada said, people died for us to vote. There were a lot of people that, went through extreme discrimination just to vote. All of the guidelines and tricks and everything that they came up with to prevent us from voting. So really, ask yourself, what's stopping you from voting? Ask yourself that. If it is lack of knowledge, then go on to, I believe it's vote.gov. Go there. Go on to vote.gov. There you can find out a lot of information about voting, how to register. Most different types of agencies help you register to vote. So truly, there is no excuse not to go out and vote. So we really need to do that, voice our opinions out there. Remember, we can make effective change. It's still, and also in the Black and brown community. Ladies, am I wrong? Just let me know. What do you think?
I agree. I definitely agree that it's important to vote. We
Point.
are taught to vote in we have been taught, or maybe we just didn't, some of us just didn't pay any attention. So if no other vote counts, it's the presidential vote. But that's so far from the truth. Again, lack of knowledge. We don't know. But I know some of the churches bring people in talking about voting, unions. But what about those people who are not exposed to those environments? So that's why we have platforms like this where we get the opportunity to sit and talk about the importance of voting for other elections besides the presidential.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we are going to keep pushing it. When our platform is up, just know that we are going to push voting, and we will make you aware of voting. We will do our best to, tell you where you need to go. So please go to our page on Facebook, On the Couch with Dr. Diamond. You will find us there. Just know, go out and vote. You have to do it. Our elderly, if they need to get out and vote, if you happen to be the one volunteering for the polls, see if you can help them, get them to the polls, go out and pick them up if you have to, because our elderly understand the value of voting. They really do. And they try their best to even teach and pass this down. So let's honor them too. If they need to go, what is the excuse? Zero, none. And this is why I keep saying there is no excuse at all not to get out and vote. So please, we're going to continue to encourage all our listeners out there to vote. All right. So let's move on to the what everyone is waiting for, which again is our topic. If I recap, our topic is about self-care and HIV awareness. So we are going to talk to three phenomenal ladies. We have Tonya Presley. So I just want to talk briefly about her, give you a background on her. So Tonya Presley holds a bachelor's degree in business and technology with a minor in education, a degree in communication, and a certification in nonprofit management. She currently works at Hyatt Foundation. Tonya Presley is a non-medical case manager, and as a case manager, she works to facilitate patient care by assessing patient needs, evaluating treatment options, creating treatment plans, coordinating care, and other organizations engaging process. All right, so that's a little about her. The next guest that we have also is Natasha McCaskill, BSN RN. She's a licensed registered nurse in the healthcare industry for 20 years. Her job includes providing testing for HIV, hepatitis B and C, pregnancy, and sexually transmitted infections. In addition, she provides counseling and treatment, educational resources for sexual and reproductive health, nutritional counseling, wound care, and skin assessment, management of medical referrals, and linkage to other providers. In addition, she provides medical care and during emergency IV drug use assessment, Narcan training, overdose prevention, and referrals for treatment. She believes that every single life matters, so she ensures that she handles her job with great care, attention every day. She has an associate's degree from Wesley College, which she obtained in 2004, and a bachelor's degree in nursing from Wilmington University in 2021. We have Jenica Jerome. So Jenica Jerome, she is a community healthcare worker at Hyacinth AIDS Foundation. She graduated from Rutgers University in 2018 with a BS in public health and has been working in an HIV field ever since. Jenica is very passionate and has worked in multiple capacities in the HIV field. She is professional. She is a professional who is connected to the community, and she works to help and provide resources to her community at large. So what I would like to do is welcome these lovely ladies in. Good morning to you all. Thank you for joining us on the Couch. So if one of you can go ahead and give us a background of, the company that you're working for, which is the Hyacinth Foundation, can you all tell us about it?
Okay, this is Tonya. I would like to say good morning. And first, before I get started, I would like to say thank you, ladies, for bringing this amazing platform. It's so needed and it's so appreciated. And we all feel honored and privileged to be on this show today. So thank you. I'm also sending apologies. Jenica is out sick and unable to attend. But a little bit about Hyacinth. Hyacinth has been around for many, many, many years. They just celebrated an anniversary. Hyacinth first started out as an AIDS foundation, but for all of us that are pushing education, we are no longer, I don't want to say concerned about the AIDS epidemic. It's more so eradicating HIV and putting an end to the HIV epidemic, because more people are living happy, healthy, productive lives with HIV, and most people are U equals U, which means undetectable and untransmittable, meaning that they cannot give HIV to their unborn child, meaning they cannot give HIV to their partner. It means that they live very healthy, very functional lives. Hyacinth has, I want to say, I don't want to misspeak, but 8 locations throughout New Jersey. But Hyacinth is always continuously partnering with other organizations because I'm so blessed that you brought up the topic of self-care. If it was only about medication, anybody could take a pill. So Hyacinth promotes the self-care, the well-being of other people. I don't know if I answered that well enough for you. Let me know.
You did. That's great. That is thank you so much for giving us the background so our listeners understand about the foundation. So, next question is how do you assist the community?
Okay, I'm going to take this one also, and then Natasha's going to take the back end of it. With
Okay.
Hyacinth, what we have are called a lot of legs. Basically, we have what's called an open door office, which means that anyone can walk in for the majority of our services. Jenica and myself have what I consider boxed in services. What that means is that in order to receive services from me, you have to be HIV positive. In order to receive services from Jenica, you have to be HIV positive. But also in our building is an open door. You can go in there and get sexual education at any moment, pamphlets, brochures, how-tos. You can come and get condoms and other sexual devices aided in protection. You can also come in and meet with counseling. We also have a wellness group that we offer. We also have psychosocial support. All these things are open to the public. We have a computer room where you can come in and access our computer if you don't have access to one at home. In addition to that, Hyacinth also has an SAP program, which stands for Syringe Access Program. Anyone in the throes of addiction, crack or heroin, can come to our facility and get clean needles. And where that helps is that it stops the spread of disease. It stops the usage of using old needles, of using discarded needles, of using someone else's needles. You can also get clean supplies. But when you're in there, you're also asked about rehab. When you're in there, you're also asked about being tested. You're also given self-care packages. You're also offered condoms. You're also offered other things. And now I'm going to digress, and I'm going to let our arch nurse take over and tell you what other services are offered and how we assist in the community. Natasha?
Okay, good morning. Thank you, Tonya. So just to piggyback off of what Tonya mentioned, I'll just say as the arch nurse to assist in the community, I primarily work on the prevention side or the health promotion side. So with the syringe access program, to assist in the community, I offer wound care services to individuals of intravenous drug use that may need attention to wounds, as well as the overdose risk prevention, which includes things of how to inject properly. And an example of this would be to instruct a client not to inject, I would say maybe in their neck versus their arm, because injecting in your neck is more higher risk for an overdose. So those are some of the small things. Along with that, Tonya mentioned about treatment. You know, we highly recommend and are able to assist with individuals getting into treatment, some same day if needed and if willing. Uh, I provide Narcan training. So if an individual comes in and they are in the capacity or if they are using, we provide Narcan, which is a reversal agent of opioids, and that will allow the person to not overdose. So we're providing medication and utensils to, as Tonya said, provide healthy or risk reduction. The way I typically look at that is, if I was to use myself as an example of someone who is in the midst of addiction, I may be in my 20s, but 10 years from now, I may want to be clean and I may want to, have a baby or get married, have a baby. We want to say, your life can change within that 10 years and you're actually able to still do those things while being healthy, because at that time of your addiction, you did not contract syphilis or you did not contract HIV. Also, I do reproductive education. So if I have someone who is in the throes of addiction and they become pregnant, I have a linkage to several other programs within the Trenton area that help young mothers get clean. Sometimes we have placement for them, if they decide to go through with their pregnancy. Pretty much that is what I do for SAP. But like Tonya had mentioned, if we are actually, or I would say myself, sometimes I work with the whole community versus just the HIV population. So some of the services I provide could just be for anyone. So if you needed immediate triage or a blood pressure check or some diabetic education, or even some cardiac, I can't provide cardiac care, but I would be able to, let you know if your blood pressure is elevated and you should seek treatment with a cardiology rather just a primary care physician. So that pretty much sums up some of the things that we do to assist in the community through Hyacin, but there are several other components to my job, but I don't want to get into too much right now. I don't want to go into my job title unless Dr. Diamond, you're ready for that.
Yes, you can. You can go right into your job title. And then Tonya, right after Natasha's done, if you could tell us, your case management position and how do you also assist with the community from that level?
Okay. So as the ARCH nurse, like I said, I'm available for immediate triage assessing of medical issues. And I like to provide a non-judgmental environment. It's free and confidential. I provide HIV, rapid testing and counseling. As you mentioned on my bio, as well as hepatitis B and C. We do testing for syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, all of the STIs. I also can, again, provide pregnancy testing, which then I could provide referrals to services that can help anyone who is willing to, whether you're continuing with the pregnancy or if you're not continuing with the pregnancy. Again, with the SAP program, I provide wound assessment and care, the IV drug assessment and referrals, and we do the overdose prevention and counseling. With the sexual and reproductive health counseling, I like to provide positive, healthy, sexual, how can I put it, risk reduction. So what I like to say with that is I like to provide fun things to do. So what I mean by that is, yes, we want to think everybody is out there doing it, but let's do it healthy. Let's protect ourselves, but also let's have fun. I don't want to provide education and drill in people, oh, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, protect yourself, but take the fun out of it. So, I also sometimes provide trinkets or have certain protective barriers, rather, other than condoms that, sometimes we may get into. Again, I also do nutrition counseling. That kind of links along with the diabetic care. Again, I mentioned Narcan training, and the Narcan training that I can provide is to anyone. So if you have churches, if you have, I don't want to say necessarily clinics, I know they primarily do themselves, but if you have a loved one who is in the throes of addiction, you can come in and get Narcan trained, and I would provide you with the Narcan, and you can get trained how to properly use it to save someone. And last but not least, like I mentioned before, I offer referrals and linkage to referrals, which means I can help call the doctor's offices or clinic or facilities to help you or your family member or whomever get into a program or a doctor's office. So we try to make it kind of like if you want to say a warm transfer, a connection. I don't like to just give people a number and say, here, call that. I like to try to make sure they get connected if there is a certain facility or doctor or program that they're trying to link to. And that kind of sums it up for me, Tonya. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, my name's Tonya, and again, thank you for allowing us to be here. So, as a non-medical case manager, it means in a nutshell, I handle pretty much every aspect of case management except for their direct medical. When they have medical concerns, they're linked otherwise. I know Jenica couldn't be here, but her job and my job correlate together. So I'm going to speak about both of them if that's okay, and how we're able to provide those services. So for myself as a case manager, persons can walk in the door as long as they are HIV positive and receive assistance with back rent, receive assistance with back public service. They can receive any other assistance that they mean and what they need. And by that, I mean, if someone's in need of housing, I don't house, I link them to housing. So I find other organizations that have funding for housing. I find available housing that's out there for them. I find resources, whether it be parent, child, single adult. Let's say if someone walks in my office, as Natasha said, we meet people where they're at. So you may come to my office and not have the ability to maybe read, write, or understand. So I help people fill out paperwork, and I link them to the Board of Social Services, or link them to Homefront and their services, or Arm in Arm if they're in need of food. Right now it's holiday season, so I've been linking mothers with children to all the organizations that are giving the toys away for persons in need of financial assistance. That's just a small linkage to what I do. I also link people to, again, food resources, housing resources, employment resources. I really push educational resources. So if I find out about trainings or other things that are offered in the community, I let my clients, or customers as they're called now, know what's available and what's out there for them. So I'll get them to fill out releases for me so I can send their information over. So it kind of cuts out a little bit of the red tape for them, because a lot of persons coming into my office feel like they've been left out of society. And I want them to feel like they're number one when they walk into our office, that what they need is the most important thing that I'm doing, and making them feel like they're heard and that they matter. So there are times people just come into my office that they just need to talk, and that's a service of self-care that I offer. Talk to me, let's figure it out, let's come up with a game plan. Everybody that comes into my office has to do a service plan for me. We set goals, we set expectations, we set experiences. Like, what are we going to do to get to the next level? Also, we collaborate with another organization that house homeless people. So I have a homeless population that also comes into my office, and I assist with getting them housing, and again, getting them food resources. And one of the most important things that we do is getting linkages to care. We can get someone that maybe hasn't seen a doctor, maybe is not on their medication, and then they get linked to our community health worker, who is Jenica. She can take them same day to see a doctor. She can get them on medication right away. We also have within my small group in the office a wellness community where you can come in and have group meetings and receive that psychosocial support. On Tuesdays, we have a late night where anybody's welcome in the building, and we could be playing games, or we could have the music going, or we could have a little bit of food. It's come in, see what we have, and then that gives some people that may be reluctant to walk through our doors the opportunity to come in, see what services we offer, see what we have, see how we can assist them. So I think that's in a nutshell of what I do. It's so much more, but I don't want to get technical. Basically, my job is about how I can be a co-pilot in somebody achieving their goals, or them getting out of the stepping stone of what they're in right now.
Wow, thank you. And those of you that are listening and watching us right now, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I just wanted to say that real briefly. You know, both of you provided some great information to us so far. Now, I'm wondering here, I have a burning question about how does Hythen define self-care? Because, you know, that's a part of what we're talking about as well. So how would your foundation define that self-care?
Okay, so I'm going to take that one and then Tasha chime in if I miss anything. Well, when we were all talking about this, we were looking at the 7 elements of self-care, and just a quick breakdown. Basically, stress relief. You come into our doors concerned about your diagnosis, your medication, your illness. We're here to relieve that. We're here to have the arch nurse test if possible. We're here to give condoms if you need it. We're here to give things for your addiction. We're here to help to assist with housing. We're here to help with food inequality. You know, when it comes to nutrition, again, we bring back the food equality. We go to a food bank at least once a week, once every other week, and bring food back into the office where people can come in there as a safe space and be able to take food back, because you're not concerned about taking your medicine or being healthy if you're hungry. Also, from the aspect of sleep, we explain to people how sleep is important. When they meet with our arch nurse, she talks to them about being healthy and taking care of yourself. Then with connections, we make healthy connections with people because we talk as an open door, whether it be about sexuality, whether it be about your spirituality, whether it be about how to get you connected in the community. Hyacinth has something for everybody that walks through the door, whether it's the gay, bisexual men and women, whether it's transgender services, whether you're a sex worker, whether you're just someone out there with multiple partners, whether you have a single partner, whether you're struggling with something else, you can walk through that door and leave out of there and feel heard. And being kind. We meet people where they're at. You know, getting a diagnosis or being treated for an STI can be a very difficult moment. Being homeless can be a very difficult moment. We're meeting people where they are with no judgment. You know, yeah, you're homeless at this snapshot, but you know what? Let's give you some groceries while you're housed in this hotel, and let's work to get you an apartment or get you sheltered somewhere. You know, you've just got diagnosed with HIV or an STI. Our arch nurse gives the shots for the STIs, or we link them for treatment and get you to see a doctor. You know, or you're struggling with mental health. The free psychosocial support is amazing at Hyacinth because they have group counseling, individual counseling, and we have several different wellness groups. And then, like I said, Tuesday night is fun night. You could just come in there and you just may need to talk to somebody. You just may need to do something else. So as far as self-care, that's basically what we're promoting from the time you walk through the door, is how can we remove these barriers to get you to healthy living, healthy sex, healthy lifestyle, you know, healthy nutrition. And we can link to everything. You need a dentist, we can link you to free dental care. You need reproductive care, we have the arch nurse. You need addiction supplies, we have that. You need condoms, you need other sexual material, you need help finding housing. We can do it in that building. And we're so blessed that it's like 8 other locations throughout New Jersey. And we partner with so many other people so that if we can't get you what you need, we can link you to someone who can. Tasha, did I miss anything?
Nope, you did a great job. I just want to add to that, you know, I think one of our most important services that we offer at Hyacinth, or what I've seen thus far with, you know, since being with Hyacinth, is that the individuals that come, like you said, they come and they seeking non-judgmental care. And I can't tell you how many individuals I've ran into that says, oh, thank you for not treating me, or, you know, having a stigma on me, whether what the case they may have come in for. But, you know, we're not looking down on them like, oh, he or she has a drug problem. Oh, he or she is coming for STI testing. They must be doing this or that. So I think that is a very important part of self-care, because that makes the individual be open to accepting the care. Because the first thing we have to do is get through the barrier of, I don't need to be tested, or I don't need to seek care. Nothing's wrong with me. So that was just something I wanted to add on to that, but you did great. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that. You talk about the mental health component of it and the psychoeducation. That is very important because, when you run across those that are being newly diagnosed, what does that look like, and how do you go ahead and refer them for psychoeducation, and do you refer them out for individual counseling if you think it's needed? Especially because if they're newly diagnosed.
Well, what I do is that if someone comes to me and they're newly diagnosed or been in treatment for a while, it's always the conversation. It's always letting them know this is what Hyacinth has and is offered to you. And what we also do, what we're very big on, is people's privacy. Because a lot of people, when you feel like you're in an impoverished group, you have no privacy because you're going from one organization to another to receive services. So your life is always an open book. So what we do is that if someone says to me, you know what, I've been struggling with this depression, or I've been struggling with whatever else, or sometimes they don't even say that. Sometimes it's just in the conversation, you can hear it in somebody's voice. So I would say something like, well, we do have this wellness community that we offer. We have group sessions, and I usually approach it like, you know what, you don't have to join the conversation. Why don't you sit in and listen? And maybe if you have something that's beneficial, you add to the conversation. And then I also let them know we have the therapist. I don't call it psychosocial support because those seem like big words. I said, we have the therapy sessions for someone you can talk to, group and private. And if they say yes, I just tell them, I'm going to send your information over to our therapist. The therapist is going to get in touch with you, and whatever you guys do is what you do. Whatever you talk about is what you talk about. And it's all good because it's none of my business. So that's another way for self-care. You're making someone feel like they have some privacy. Everything that they're doing is not an open book. Also, with newly diagnosed, immediately getting them into treatment is one of the bigger things. And I love that our ARCH nurse is there, that people can come in, and she's going to chime in at some point, but I see repeated people coming to her office to talk to her, that she's linked to other healthcare facilities, and they're reaching out for the counseling. And I love that in the building that I work in, we all seem to kind of feed off each other as to what a person may need, so that, again, they feel heard, but they still have their privacy.
You also mentioned the word stigma. That just jumped out at me. So just holding on to that word stigma and thinking about our Black and Brown community. What does that population look like? Because where are you located? That's the first question as well, or part of that question. And then tell us about the population that's coming in. Do we have our Black and Brown communities coming in to get the assistance that they need?
So we're located in Trenton. We're on 849 West State Street. And the phone number, if anyone needs, is 609-396-8322. You can walk in on Wednesdays, but you also, we're open Monday through Friday. I'll start by saying that, but the ARCH nurse has walk-in Wednesdays. All the other days you can schedule an appointment. Now, as far as our Black and Brown people, I want to say yes, our doors are open, and we have Black and Brown individuals come in for a lot of other services. I will say I see a difference in not a lot of Brown and Black people coming for our syringe access services. So that is the program where you can get clean needles or supplies for your drug use. And I do think, from what I can see, there is a stigma. You see a lot more other, I want to say, races coming for those services, and those services are free. I think that a lot of our Black and brown people don't want other people to know. You know, we are quick to say we don't want anybody in our business. So the thing is, from what I can see is, yes, we don't want people in our business, and we're still doing different behaviors. And then what I'm seeing is a rise of HIV and different diseases in that population. So my goal is to express and put out and advocate and, put out this information. So again, thank you for the opportunity and your platform, so we can actually get this information out to more Black and brown people, because we need it. The services are free. They're free and confidential. And, to help stop the rise of HIV in the Black and brown community. I don't know what else it is. It's really, and when I say a staggering number, it's a staggering number on the SAP side. I see definitely a lot more other races coming than Black and brown people.
Hey ladies, I just want to thank you all for the healing work that you all are doing, because definitely it is healing work that you all are all doing. And I really, really appreciate it. I first heard of your organization in the 90s at Junior One Martin Luther King School. I remember someone coming to the school talking about it way back when. So I've always known about the organization, but I'm just so proud of just how it expanded and different services that you all have. Now I share a special connection with AIDS and HIV, because my biological father actually contracted it and actually passed away from it. So earlier on in my career, I dedicated my life to working at different organizations to learn more about it. One in particular being Rainbow House, which is also in Trenton, New Jersey. I just want to say, just keep up the good work, keep doing what you're doing, keep expanding, and keep on saving lives. You ladies rock.
All right, thank you. Dr. Diamond, is it okay if I say something about stigma really, really quick?
Yes, you can.
As far as stigma goes, to be very honest with you, until I started really working at this foundation, I did not know as much as I do now. So part of what I do is I try my best to get out in the community and let community people know that Hyacinth is out there, that let them know we're no longer an AIDS foundation. It is just the Hyacinth Foundation. And that, as our nurse said, all of our services are free. But as far as stigma goes, I meet people, unfortunately, at some of the worst parts in their life. They have shame, they have guilt, and they're made to feel like they're less than a regular person. So our job is to eradicate that stigma and to move forward with positive education, positive teaching, positive resources. So because there's so much stigma and misinformation still out there about HIV, I try to get out. So when we're asked to table at events, when I know there's things going on, I like to let as many people in the bigger circles that I'm in outside of work know that we're out there, to know that this is not a shameful thing that's happening. HIV is not a death sentence. HIV is not leprosy, and that condoms are out there, and that other care is out there, and it's all free. So that's just what I wanted to say, because the stigma is real, and it's really still, it's a shame that in 2022, it's still that much stigma about HIV and that much shame about contracting HIV.
Hello. I too also wanted to thank you both for the work that you are doing within the community. What I'm hearing from your agency, which I love, is the support that you are giving to the community, the support that you are giving to one another. You stand in the gap for each other, and that's what we need. And I'm glad, that you all are doing that. That's all I want to say. I'm sitting here, I'm like not overwhelmed, but I'm so proud and happy that I know these services are out there, but if we don't hear about it and we don't know about it, like Rajanta, she was exposed. I'm from New York, been down here for a couple of years, but you know, we had different programs up there. So being out here and Rajanta saying, yeah, well, when I was in school, this is what I heard. I heard about this program. You all have history in the community. So people are more likely to come to you because of you've been there. So thanks for the support. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
Can you all speak more about your tabling events? Because that's a part of, promoting and educating, self-care in the community at large. So if you could talk about those experiences when you are out in the community doing your tabling events.
Okay, I can take that, Tasha, and then you can chime in after me if that's okay.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, I table probably less than Natasha does, but for example, we just did a health fair in Ewing, and it was a lot of different organizations that were out there, but we were there with the big bowl of condoms in the middle of the table, but we had packets of the information that we offer. Plus, we were offering a lot of educational materials, and we bag up little condoms. So it's the conversation of we're here, we're promoting healthy living, we're promoting other services, and people will stop at our tables and they'll say, okay, tell us about your organization. So we tell them that basically Hyacinth it's pretty much a 3-word motto: live, prevent, and advocate. So that's what we're trying to do, is teach people how to prevent the spread of HIV, how to live healthy, and how to advocate. So we offer a lot of information at the table events. And then for me, because I deal with several outside sources, places that Hyacinth wouldn't normally table, I try to set up and go to different maybe organizations, maybe Masonic lodges that may host like a community day. Like we would set up there to get information out to let people know that we're there. But we're always at the big ones, like we were at the Lava Love event. But we also do other ones like World AIDS Day is coming December 1st. And of course, every organization dealing with HIV is going to be there, but we'll be there also. And I know Natasha and that SAP side, Syringe Access, they actually go to a lot of rehab centers and other places, and they table at different places like that to provide different information. And I know that Natasha can speak about it, but I was in awe and amazed that she was actually part of a group going out early in the mornings, delivering book bags with essential care items for people that were homeless and living on the street. And she was actually providing wound care at that time. So I don't know if she wants to speak about that, or if that is along your question of us getting out in the community. I don't want to veer off. But
no, that's wonderful. Please go into that.
Well, as far as tabling events, we collaborate with a multitude of organizations. So as Tonya mentioned, we collaborate with the Rescue Mission. Now, mind you, that wasn't necessarily a table event, but I would consider that outreach. And they offer their own services, but we just kind of tag along because we offer different services that they're interested as well. So like Tonya mentioned, an example of that would be they provide food while out, and clothing, and connection to treatment, as well as like Tonya said, me and myself as the nurse was just going out and observing how many individuals may have been in need of arch nurse services, as far as like wound care, or an example would be if it was a sex worker, to try to get them to come in, provide them condoms, or get them to come in for testing. Also, recently we did a tabling event at Recovery Advocates. And at this particular event, we were there to test as well as table. So with the tabling, again, we're, like Tonya mentioned, we're providing education, condoms if needed, just, putting out the information for our services. But again, at that event, we did testing as well. So anybody who wanted to come up and get testing, we were able to provide testing, and we was able to actually, I would say, promote the testing and provide an incentive if, the individual was tested. So like Tonya mentioned, we do tabling. I myself have also went out with individuals from addiction services that covered Mercer County and just kind of went out and observed. And when I say went out, meaning like Tonya said, we met them where they were. Some people don't like to come to the office, unfortunately. And again, that's a little bit about the, like you said, the stigma and wanting to be seen. But sometimes when we go out, if you want to say I've been out in the streets and met them, went to where they were and just seen and observed and try to, get more information on what they need. So then when we go back to our higher ups, we can actually revamp if need and, try to supply things that are needed for the population.
Thank you so much. Ladies, I just have one quick question. This is for Johnson, by the way. So I know that research is really still developing, but I know as of late, we've been seeing a lot of advertisements like the recent Dovato commercial. Do you think that HIV and AIDS, people are still kind of looking at it as a gay disease? Or do you think people have been more kind of open towards just accepting that it happens? And it can happen no matter what your sexual gender or sexual preferences.
I actually would say that, believe it or not, I feel that a lot of people still think it's a gay disease. My reason being is I have plenty of young people coming in. And it's funny that you mentioned, still educating, learning new things, learning new medications. A lot of and you got to think if you want to say the AIDS back then epidemic, that was in the 80s when everything kind of happened. So now we have a new generation, these younger people, they actually just think, okay, they got medicine for it. That's fine. I'll just take the medicine. So again, I do believe that there is still some stigma. Oh, this is just a gay disease. And an example of that would be the monkeypox. Like, something that just recently happened and everybody was like, oh, well, it's not going to have it. That's a gay disease. And I think that's where the educating and promoting really is important. And it needs to be at the top of the list because, again, we have a younger generation and they're fine with, okay, it's a pill. Oh, I can take the pill and be undetectable. That's good enough for me. So I do a lot of promoting. I do a lot of promoting and prompting for females, like you said, as well. Anybody that is in a high risk category, I try to promote the PrEP if needed. And I think that's, something definitely that people needed to be educated on. So I do a lot of that. I link and recommend. We also have PrEP counselors throughout some of our offices. And the PrEP counselor would actually give a great detailed information on PrEP because there are different types of PrEP. And as you mentioned, you see more of the commercials. So just a heads up, it's not just pills or, anymore. They're actually coming out with an injection. But the PrEP provider would give great details in that and then link someone to a provider who would be able to prescribe the medication. I hope I answered that for you.
Yeah, no, you were actually on point. You ladies have been on point. I've learned so much. And I've also learned that the Center for the Disease Control states that individuals 13 years and older, it's fallen. The numbers have fallen in half from 2010, 2017. But African Americans are still more at risk of mortality, greater than any other race. Can you explain why that is?
Again, for me, I believe it's because it's the lack of education, the lack of knowledge, and then not seeking the treatment. And some of it is because it's not known. It's not known that it's out there. And Hyacin, I would say, is the perfect example, meaning a lot of people don't know about Hyacin. They don't know that we're here. We're right in Trenton, and we're able to provide these services and that they're free. So then they go without. And I think that's a big thing. Again, that's the stigma on the Black and brown populations, as well as, just not taking advantage or like I said, it's the lack thereof knowledge, not knowing that that is available to them.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for the clarity.
Thank you so much. Today you provided, or both of you actually provided so much information for us, our listeners. You are so much welcomed even more on the couch with us. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to invite you back again, because you provided a lot of information. So I can only imagine what other information you may have for those that are listening today. And I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting you all again. I'm pretty sure my co-hosts agree with that. Sanella, I know you're ready to say something, so I'm going to hush up for a second.
Well, what I was going to say, I was going to ask a question, but she answered it in response to Rajanta's and what I was going to, and thank you for that, Natasha. My question basically was, are the youth seeking services? Because that is generally the population that I work with. Or should I say, once they find out about you, because I know you guys are out in Trenton, once they find out about you, do they actually come in and receive the services? But your response was generally no, because some of it's shame, lack of knowledge. They don't know. So, but thank you. Yes, you guys have so much information. I know there's so much more. You'll have to come back. I hope you come back, because I've learned a lot too. And I think our listeners have learned a lot.
Thank you. Well, Sanella, I'm not going to say that they don't come. Now, when I mean they don't come, I would say more on the syringe access side.
Okay.
It's the lack of. I try to get out there and do my outreach, especially for the STI testing and stuff. I've been to colleges and stuff. Sometimes I'm met with barriers because you can't post flyers and stuff, all the logistics for certain places. But believe it or not, within, I want to say, the city of Trenton, I've been to a couple of places where the young people, I'm going to say, frequent, and I was able to kind of get some word of mouth. And I do have them coming in for testing. And like Tonya had mentioned earlier, I do have repeat clients. So I'm trying to break that. I'm trying to get out there and meet them. And I'm not sure what age group you work with. I'm talking
13.
Okay, so no, I'm not getting that young. I'm in the maybe early 20s and late mid 30s.
Okay.
Age group.
Okay.
And can I just chime in? I'm sorry, Miss Sanella, and say that although we're not active in that younger group, our Hyacinths up north have Project LOL, and there are so many other projects and groups that they have up there that they are engaging in that younger population at our other Hyacinths. So although at this moment we're not, but I can say a few months ago, they hold a gay men's retreat for the young men every year at Hyacinth right around May. Mm-hmm. And that's when they capture that young population, and there's counseling, and it's just like a wellness weekend, and they come back just empowered. And that was the name of the group, the Empowerment Group. So we're looking to rebuild that group and rebuild some other groups in our office. And we would love to invite you ladies into our building at any time to actually see our services, to see if there's anything that we can be helpful for in the community that can help your programs. Because like I said, Hyacinth is here, and we're here for the community, and we're here to educate.
Okay. So I guess through this podcast, we have, you guys know that there's definitely a need there, because I can tell you, as being a counselor, the children are out here engaging in sexual acts unprotected. There's a need there. So I'm glad that it's something that you guys have thought about or trying to reestablish, because there is a need. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So before we end our episode today, the two of you, if you're able to provide again the location of Hyacinth, where you are and where you can be contacted. I do have a banner going across, but I would love for you to say it. And then some parting words for our listeners.
All right, I guess I'll go first and then Tasha can end it out. We are at 849 West State Street. That is 1 block in from Parkside Avenue. We're located 1 block from there. So we're right off of 29. And parting words are education is the key. And if you don't know, ask. I just want to push education is the key. Natasha?
Yes, just like you said, educating is the key, as well as I want to say know your status. It doesn't hurt to come and find out, to know if you're negative or even to know if you're positive, because that could change your life for many reasons, different reasons, good and bad. So it's just like know your status. That's what I would say. Practice safe sex, know your status.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So myself and my two co-hosts, Ms. Rajanta and Ms. Sinella, we thank you so much, Tonya Presley and Natasha McCaskill, for joining us today. It was phenomenal, the information that you gave us, and I learned a lot. My two co-hosts, they said it as well, that they learned a lot. So we thank you both for coming on, and we will invite you back on to the couch with us again. And to our listeners, I'm hoping that you were able to find some newfound knowledge on self-care and HIV. And yeah, we know that a lot of people are not going to say, I'm HIV positive or anything like that. But, just tell them where this foundation is. Just the young people, as Sinella talked about, how the young people really need to get out there. If you know anyone or the young people, if you work with them and you know that they are out there risking themselves by not protecting themselves, please refer them to Hyacinth, because they are there to educate our community at large. So I'm hoping that, again, that you benefited from today from our show. And if you enjoyed the show, please rate us, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook. On the Couch with Dr. Diamond, we have about 7 platforms that we're on. We're on Anchor, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. And be sure to come and join us November 26th. But before we end our episode for today, parting words from my astounding and phenomenal co-host, Sinella, do you have any parting words for us today before we end?
Well, I would say thank you for all that you do at Hyacinth. It is a foundation that is very much needed. You guys are established. I've learned a lot. Keep giving and spreading the information. It is necessary, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you ladies again. Thank you.
Absolutely. I share the same sentiments as Miss Sinella. This is important work that you all do. Continue to save lives and just continue to be awesome in everything you do. Best wishes for you and your organization. Thanks again for coming.
And until we see you all again on our next episode, November 26th, peace out. Peace, love, and tranquility. Remember, self-care is very important. We hope to see you again soon, and have a blessed and wonderful and safe weekend.
Thank you for joining on the couch this evening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and if you want to contact Dr. Diamond, you may reach her at candidconversations.dr.d@gmail.com. Have a great evening, and we will see you on the next show.